Hi, this is Amit, and today I am going to introduce Weblogic demo session to you. Uh, just one sec. Okay, now. Here, today's agenda is to get some idea about Weblogic server. In Weblogic server, we will have a look over domain, server, admin server, manage server, cluster, node manager. These are all basically part of Weblogic server. So before diving into WebLogic server, I will like to give a basic idea of client server and means how these things works. So suppose you are a client and you want to access some web page like some application like web facebook.com or Gmail or any application over the internet. So what you do, you just enter the URL over the your browser. So basically what happened when you enter any URL over browser, it will create a request, HTTP request. It the request goes through a protocol that I will come to later, and later I will describe this protocol. So basically what happened when whenever you type any URL over the browser, it will create a request, and then this request will go to web server. Now, what is web server? This question arises. So basically, we use web server to route the request over the application server. So you can just consider web server as a just router of the request to different application server. And the purpose of this web server, I will go in depth later. So just consider it as a router. It will just route the request, or it will just forward the request to the application server. So here now the application server come into picture. Application servers are of different type depending on the means provider. Like from Oracle, it is WebLogic server, Oracle application server, but mainly WebLogic servers are using. And Oracle application server, it is very less in use. So basically, it is very less demanding in the market. Most of the if I talk about overall market, 41% of the market is covered by WebLogic server, that is from Oracle, and approximately 30% of application server, that is WebSphere. It is provided IBM. It is by IBM. It covers the 30% of the market, and rest of 20% or 30% is used means are using freewares like Apache Tomcat and JBoss, Glassface. So even JBoss is of Oracle, but Oracle is means concentrating more over WebLogic server. So rest of the 20 or 30% are small enterprise businesses. They are using freewares, the Glassface, JBoss. So yeah, we were over the application server, and we are using WebLogic server. So we will consider WebLogic as this application server. So now the question arises is, what is application server? So basically, whatever application you access, it is some set of coding, and these codings are packaged into a application file. You must have seen your means zip file .zip like that. So it is EAR, WAR, and JAR files. And basically, these EAR files or JAR or WAR files are composite of Java. Means Java codings are means compiled and just means as a composite they are compressed into this application file. So basically all the application, Facebook, either Facebook, Gmail, they are set of applications, and they are deployed over the application server. So as a basic definition, we can consider application server as a platform to host the application. So WebLogic server, when we talk about WebLogic server is nothing but a platform to host the application over it. Okay, so when we talk about hosting application over it, it means it will provide all the necessary resources to the application, all the necessary resources. Like if means suppose your home is hosting you, or some person is hosting you. Suppose you went somewhere and you are guest of somebody and he is hosting you. He is hosting you means he will provide all the necessary resources like food and beddings and these all. If he is hosting you, then he will provide all the necessary resources to you to live over there. So basically the WebLogic server is a platform for all the Java application servers, sorry, Java applications, and provide them all the resources to run. Okay, so provide them all the resources means it will provide uh, database services, it will provide Java messaging services, and other things. So what is database services and what is Java messaging services? This I will cover later in depth because it is a demo session, and even if I tell you theoretically about these things, then you may not be able to understand it quite in better manner. So I will cover it through practically. I will create the data sources and JMS servers practically and let you know over that. So now in the next slide we will see what is WebLogic. Here, as I told you, WebLogic is a platform to host and support all the Java-based applications. It provides all the resources used by the application during the runtime. So here you can see jar, var, er. Basically, these are all types of Java application files. Jar means simple Java application file, Java archived files. We means full form of jar. So these are very basic Java application files. When we talk about coming to war, war is web archived files. Web archived files means it can contains multiple Java application, Java archived file. It can contain many jars inside it. So var is a superset of jar. It contains many jar files along with other XML files. And now comes ER. ER is enterprise archive files. So it is basically combination of var and jar, means a EAR can contain many var and many jar inside it and many class files inside it. So basically we can say EAR is a superset of var and jar. So basically EAR contains business logic and many other things inside it. We will come to it later. So basically when we talk about application server, WebLogic application server, it provides a platform or it hosts the application over it and provides all the necessary resources used by the application during the runtime. And what are the necessary resources? I will tell or I will cover these topics later. Okay. Now here is some basic idea of architecture of WebLogic. How means what are the things inside WebLogic, what are the resources and how WebLogic works. WebLogic architecture is very depth, but I have covered very means some basic resources or basic parts of WebLogic in this slide, because if I go in depth then I guess it will be very tough to understand. So basically when we talk about WebLogic server, where each and every WebLogic server contains a domain, and now the question arises is what is domain? Domain, we can say domain is just like a home, means every resource, each and every resource of WebLogic will be inside your domain. Okay, so domain will contain your admin server instances. Each and every resources of WebLogic server will be inside your domain, and each WebLogic server will be having only one domain. Okay, you can create many domains, but for one application there will be a domain. WebLogic server will be having a domain. In a domain there will be an admin server. For each domain there will be only one admin server. Now what is admin server? As the name suggests, you can see admin server means admin server is the main administration server. It is just used for administration and monitoring tasks. Anyway, you can use it for deployment, but that is some other part. I will cover it later. But admin server, the main use of admin server is to monitor, to control, or to administer for administration task. Okay, and we can create many managed instances. So here the point to be means on which we should concentrate is there in WebLogic there is a domain. Inside the domain there will be only one admin server, and we can create as many managed instances or managed server as we can. So as I told you that admin server is basically for monitoring and administration tasks. So now comes managed server. So the main role of managed server is to perform the task. So basically just consider an example that in a team there is a team leader and there are team members. So team leader is basically to control, to monitor and to perform the administration task for its or for his team members. Similarly, here the admin server is for only monitoring tasks, and these managed servers are the team member and they perform the basic tasks, or you can say all the tasks are performed by managed servers. You can create as many managed servers you want, but the constraint here is your server should have that much of memory. Basically, one managed server, for creating one managed server, you should have 512 MB of memory inside your server. So you can multiply, or depending on your environment and setups, it varies. But the means the main point here is you can create many managed servers, but admin server will be only one. Okay. Now, as you can see in the slide, there is one admin server. As I told you, one domain will be having one admin server only. And for example, I have created two instances, instance 1 and instance 2. I guess some problem in the slide, so they are getting some hotspots kind of manner. So instance 1 and instance 2, they are two managed servers, and there is test.var. Suppose you are deploying a application test.var, or you can take Facebook as an example. So there will be application file for Facebook. Okay, so you have deployed or you have hosted that application file over these two instances or these two managed servers. Okay, and for reference only I have created one database. Now coming to database means it is provided by many providers like SQL database, Oracle database. So the database is basically used to store the data inside it. Data will be stored in form of tables and many other things are there that we can cover later. But basically as an overview, you can understand database as a storage for all the data and information inside it. Like it will be used by your application server to fetch and obtain data, fetch and retrieve data. Okay, so just I would like to give a simple example over here. So we have deployed a sample application, or you can take any application as in example over your WebLogic server. So it will be basically deployed over the managed servers. Okay, then managed server will be having many resources linked with it, like JDBC data source, JMS Java messaging servers, and many things are there that I will cover later, because if now I will tell you all these things, then it may confuse you. So here we are having two managed servers, and we have deployed one sample application over that. You can take Facebook or Gmail as an example, and the managed servers are connected to database and many other things are there. So basically what happens, just have a scenario that you just entered a URL in your browser, and as I mentioned, that URL will be sent as a request by the browser to the web server. And we know that web server is just used to distribute the request or forward the request to the application server, and here the WebLogic's role is in picture. So the request will hit the WebLogic server, And when I say request will hit the WebLogic server, so it will hit these managed instances. So load will be on these managed servers. Now in application file, some code is written for the request. Suppose you want to log in the application, you will enter your username and password. Okay, so one request will be created for that, and it will hit the WebLogic server. Then some coding is there in this application file, that if suppose your name is Ram and you are hitting your username is Ram and your something is your password, then some coding is there, some architecture, some coding is there in the application file, that if the username is Ram and password is this, then please give him his home page. So basically this request will hit the application file, and through the application file this request will be processed by your managed servers instances. Okay, then the managed server then the application file will will connect to the database. Basically the managed server will go to the database and asks for the username and password of yours. Then database will then you the actual username and password will be stored inside the database. It will it will match the username and password with the username and password sent through the request. And if this username and password matches, then it will give you your home page. Okay, so basically for each and every request there is a response. You send the request through the browser, through your browser, and then the response will be then there will be a response from the application server, and application server will send the response to you, and you can view the response from your browser. So basically you are a client, and for your every request there will be a response from the application server side. Okay, then we come to domain. So as I told you, what is domain? It is nothing but it is logically related group of WebLogic instances and all the other resources. So basically you can say now that you are having a home, and your home is having many resources inside it, like bedroom, kitchen, washroom, you living room, dining room. So many things are there. So basically your home is a domain. It is just containing all the resources inside it. So similarly you can consider domain is for WebLogic server, and it contains all the resources, either managed servers, either your other database data sources and your JMS servers. So it will contain all everything, each and every composite of the WebLogic server inside the domain. Okay, so after domain there is a server. So what is server? Server is nothing but it just executes for each request, it executes the request and give the response. So there is one client, there is a server. What is means, you must have heard about client server model. So basically client send the request to the server, and server give the response to the client. So this is what server is. Server stores the information, and client just asks server for each and means any information, and server will provide the output to the client. So this is what server is. In our case, we are considering our WebLogic as a server. So as I told that this application server will send the response to the browser, means client. So we call this a WebLogic as a server. So now we come to admin server, administration server. It is, see, in the slide it is marked as red. Admin server is in red. I guess it is very small to view. Now I think it will be clear. Here it is clear. Let me adjust it. Okay. So here we are having one admin server, and as I mentioned, we can create one or more than one managed servers. But the admin server will be only one. That is why it is marked in red. So as I told, admin server is only used for monitoring and administration task. So leader can be only one. Rest of other members are only team members, and they perform the task. So we are having managed servers, that is more than one. In our scenario there are three managed servers and one admin server. Okay, And for each admin server there is a admin console associated with it. Now the question arises, what is admin console? So just as in basic idea, basic overview, admin console is just a front view, or means it gives you a console, it gives you a screen, and from that screen you can see whether the server health is okay or not, whether your application is okay or not, your application is up and running or not. So the many things are there inside the admin console. I will give you the means view of admin console later when we will install our machine. We will install our WebLogic server. So basically, just as an idea, we can take admin console as a screen, and it will give you all the graphs of application and your managed servers and other resources of the WebLogic server. So here we have to just note that there is a domain. For each domain, there is a associated admin server. Admin server will be only one, and we can create one and more than one managed servers. Okay. So after admin server, we will, the next slide is for cluster. Let me adjust it. Okay. So what is cluster? So just an example, we can take, no, sorry. Wait. Okay, cluster. So for example, cluster, we can take cluster as in group. Okay. So it is group of managed servers. It is logically group, means here logical in the sense it you can't see it, but it is logical grouping of the managed instances of managed server to provide scalability, reliability, and availability. So when means let us understand the concept of cluster first. So basically, suppose let us take two scenarios. In one scenario, there is only one person, and in another scenario, there is a group of four persons. And you are, suppose you are a leader, and you want to give some task, or you are having some task. So you just suppose you assign one task to one person, and in the another scenario you assign the task to group of four persons. So in these two scenario, let us see each scenario one by one. In the single person scenario, suppose if the person feels ill, or suppose the person is in some trouble, or he is sick, or he have to go to somewhere. In this case, if that person is unavailable, then your task will stop, means your task is stopped, he is unable to do your task, so your task is stuck, right? But in the another scenario, there are four members to perform your task. You have assigned your task to group of four members. So if one member is down, for that particular task, there are rest of three members to perform it. What does it means? It means that your task will be performed in any case, either the one member is down, either two member is down, but still two members are there to perform the task. So this is the concept of group. Means your task is performed in efficient manner in case of group. So this is what the benefit of cluster is. We create cluster as a group of managed servers so that the request will be served by the group of the managed servers, or in any case if your one managed server is down or two managed server is down, but still the application will not stop, it will run over the rest of the managed servers inside the cluster. So for as per the slide, we can read the definition as a cluster is a group of managed servers running simultaneously and working together to provide increased scalability and reliability. What does scalability means? It means that you can add n numbers of members or n numbers of managed servers inside your cluster, and your application will be deployed over the cluster, not over the managed servers. So from application point of view, only one cluster will be visible to it. Okay. But inside the cluster, there is n number of managed servers working for the application. So we can add or we can increase the number of managed servers inside the cluster. So it is scalable. You can scale it to n numbers of servers. And the next is reliability and availability. So it means that suppose the application is deployed over the cluster or it is hosted over the cluster. So it means if one or two servers are down, but still other servers are there to perform the task. So it is reliable. You can rely that your application won't stop in any case or at any point of view. And available means it will be available. Either servers are means servers are down, one or two or three servers are down, but still other servers will be there to perform the task. So application is up and running in any case. Okay. So this is the concept of clusters. Okay. These are cluster guidelines that means all the servers in cluster must be in same domain. Same domains means suppose you are having one environment or one domain means each and every member of a cluster should be a member of the same domain. Means you cannot add two members from different domain. Okay. All servers within a cluster must be at the same maintenance pack level. These are some different terms and it will be clear if I install and show you means practically show you, because in this way it may create some confusions. These JSP servlets, EJBs, RMIs, object or cluster where. So these are things. Node manager. Node manager is basically start or stop to start up stop or to monitor the servers. So these are the parts. These will be clear uh, once I install the server and practically show you the thing. This is communication inside a cluster. So like if you are having a team and you are having a team member, then the team members should communicate with each other. So same here in a cluster, if you are having n number or two or three managed servers inside your cluster, then the managed servers also need to communicate with each other that whether they are healthy and what work they are doing or how much work they are having or how much load they are having. So these things need to be communicated inside the cluster. So there are different mechanism for the communication inside the cluster, a multicast, unicast. So I will come to this point later. What is machine? Configuration files. Look, these are the configuration file config.xml. It is the main configuration file of the WebLogic, but we will cover it later. Configuration wizard. See here. These are the docs. These are the related URLs from where you can have a better look. So this is the basic overview of WebLogic. I guess it should be clear. So uh, from Monday, we will cover in depth and we will install the WebLogic server. And for each and every point, we will dive in depth and we will discuss those points and we will move forward. Okay, so for now, I guess this would be okay. Okay, fine. Thank you for giving your time, and I guess this time will be fruitful and we have utilized this 1 hour. Thank you very much.